His parents were killed by Bucky, but when Tony finally tried to avenge them, Captain America, one of his closest friends, not only refused to help, but chose Bucky's side and stopped Tony again and again. Not long before that, Captain America and Bucky had entered the Hydra base. They had barely stepped out of the elevator when a sudden voice caught them off guard. It was Tony, who had arrived just in time. He already knew about Zemo's plan and made it clear that he wasn't there to fight. He was there to help. The three entered a hidden chamber only to discover that the 5 Winter Soldiers had already been killed by Zemo. Moments later, Zemo's voice came over the speakers. His entire family had died during the Battle of Sokovia, and to get revenge on the Avengers, he had carefully planned everything with one goal in mind: make them destroy each other from within. Then footage from 1991 began to play. Back then, Bucky was still under Hydra's control, and his mission was to intercept and kill Tony's parents. Watching the entire murder unfold right in front of him, Tony completely lost control. He turned to Steve and demanded to know if he had known the truth all along.
Yes.
That one answer shattered whatever trust Tony still had left. The next second, he punched Steve to the ground and went straight for Bucky. Steve immediately stepped in to stop him, but Tony knocked him down and restrained him with an electric cable. Bucky seized the opportunity to fight back, crushing Tony's repulsor with his metal arm. The explosion blasted them apart, but just as Tony tried to go after Bucky again, Steve got in his way. He kept telling Tony that Bucky hadn't had a choice back then, but Tony was too consumed by rage to listen. He fired up his armor and continued the chase, only for Steve to grab his leg and damage one of his thrusters with the shield. Tony had no choice but to trap Steve with a laser and keep chasing Bucky in his damaged suit. But Steve quickly broke free and slammed Tony to the ground again. When Tony saw Bucky about to escape, he sealed the dome above them, sending all three crashing down onto the platform below. Steve still tried to convince him to stop, but after learning how his parents had died, there was no way Tony could simply let it go. Then Bucky grabbed the shield and attacked Tony from behind before teaming up with Steve to take him down. Facing both of them at once, Tony was overwhelmed and forced onto the defensive, desperately waiting for a chance to strike back. He blasted Steve away with his repulsor, then turned and fought Bucky at close range. Bucky relentlessly attacked the arc reactor in Tony's chest, nearly destroying it. At the critical moment, Tony charged up his suit and fired, completely blasting off Bucky's metal arm. But before Tony could even catch his breath, Steve rushed back in, pinned him against the wall, and hammered him with attack after attack. Tony immediately ordered Friday to analyze Steve's fighting style. Once the suit identified his attack patterns, Tony instantly turned the fight around. He caught the shield, blasted Steve backward, and unleashed all the anger he had been holding inside, hitting him with punch after punch before throwing him across the room.
I could do this all day.
But just as Tony was about to finish the fight, Bucky lying on the ground distracted him for a split second. Steve seized the opening, slammed Tony down, climbed on top of him, and kept attacking until he finally smashed the arc reactor with his shield. The fight was over. Steve helped Bucky to his feet and prepared to leave.
You don't deserve it. My father made that shield.
Steve stopped. After a brief silence, he dropped the shield and walked away with Bucky. In the end, Tony not only failed to avenge his parents, he was forced to watch the friend he once trusted most choose to stand beside the man who had killed them. Just how tragic was Tony?